Hey everybody, and welcome back to another lecture with Coding with Roby. And in this lecture, we're going to be setting up our Heroku account. So now that we have everything on our remote repository on GitHub, it's time to now set up our deployment on Heroku. So to go to Heroku, let's go to https://www.heroku.com, which will bring you to their homepage. From here, if you do not have an account, let's click Sign Up. And once you're in sign up, you're going to need to type in your first name, your last name, your email address, your role, your country, and your primary development language, which are all required. You can also type in your company name if you want to, but that's not a required field. And once you create an account, it may or may not ask for a credit card. I've noticed that it changes a couple times. However, if it does require a credit card, remember you will not be charged with this lecture. We are doing all free tiers and free plans for Heroku. They just need to hold on to it in case you want to update your plan. So again, if they ask for a credit card, that is okay, as everything we're doing in this course is absolutely free. If you already have an account, you can just click Login, which will bring you to id.heroku.com/login, where you can pass in your email and password. I'm going to fill this out real quick, and then I will return back to the video once I log in. Alright, and now once you log in, you're going to come to this dashboard where you don't have any apps currently running, and it's asking you to create a new app, and every app in pipeline you create or become a collaborator on will appear here. So the first thing we need to do is just to create a new app. And once we create a new app, I'll kind of walk you through what Heroku's doing. And here we need to create an app name. And I'm going to name this Coding with Roby-Fast API-Deploy. But feel free to name it whatever you want. Me, I'm going to choose my region of United States, and then I'm going to say Create App. Once you come here, you're going to come to your apps dashboard where there's an overall, where if we click overall, we can see that our installed add-ons are 0, our dyno is 0, and we have no collaborators. Again, we're going to keep all of this at $0. If we go over to our resources, we can see that we have no dynos, which again are the virtual machines for Heroku running. And we also have no add-ons for our app. If we go to deploy, this is where we can add a new pipeline. And pipelines let you connect to multiple apps together and promote code between them. We will not be covering pipelines as of right now. If we scroll down, we can see that there's really two different types of doing deployments. We can do the container, but we're not going to cover that. There's a Heroku Git, which uses the Heroku CLI, which means you need to download their command line interface and do some Heroku setup, and then you can just deploy directly to Heroku from your personal machine. We will not be covering that. We will be covering the GitHub deployment section. So make sure you click GitHub here. And once you click GitHub, it's going to make you sign in. I've already signed into GitHub, so right here is going to tell you to what's your username and password for GitHub. Again, Heroku is a very safe company. They are very popular in deployment, and connecting it with GitHub is again a very popular thing to do. So feel free to give Heroku your username and password so you can connect your branch and your application from Git over to Heroku. Now, I'm going to be in my Coding with Roby GitHub account, and I need to type in my repository name. And if we remember, the repository name that I pushed all of our code to is called Fast API. And here we can see two, it's this one, the Fast API one for me. So I'm going to say connect. So now we can see that our app is connected to GitHub. We're connected to our Coding with Roby at Fast API by me, Coding with Roby. And if we scroll down, we can see that there's now two different types of deployments. There's the automatic deployment. And the automatic deployment means every push to the branch you specify here will deploy a new version to the app. Well, we're going to connect our master and main branch to our application on Heroku. So what the automatic deployments mean is every time you push a change up to your Git repository on that specific branch, it's going to kick off an automatic deployment to Heroku. Well, there's kind of pros and cons of that. The pros is you can get new features out live to clients and users very, very fast. The cons are you may be pushing a bug also very, very fast. And CI/CD, which is part of this automatic deployments of continuous integration and continuous delivery, is really fundamental of having multiple environments which you can test, so you're automatically pushing already tested code to clients. So it's kind of dangerous just an RS aspect of making a code on our local machine and then pushing directly to production. So I'm going to stick with our manual deploy, where we're going to deploy the current state of the branch to whatever we want it to be. So right now, I only have one branch, so only main's going to show up here. But this would show all branches we currently have on our remote branch in GitHub. So here, I'm going to type in deploy branch. And we're going to see that there's going to automatically start building our application. However, Heroku requires some files that we currently don't have in our application. That's why we're seeing our build has failed. Well, we can view the build log by clicking this button. And I'm just going to right click, open it as a new link. And here we can see it says the exact same thing we saw before, but usually it shows a lot more information. So in the next video, we're going to be adding the changes Heroku needs to properly deploy on a dyno. But let's continue going through this for now. If we go to our metrics, we can see that there's no metrics set up, but metrics are available if you're paying for Heroku, and it shows you all the metrics of your application once we have it deployed. We have our activity, which is going to show you all of the activities of your actual application getting deployed. So we can see that, hey, on today at 2:54, we had our initial release, and then we enabled Logplex, and then we had a build failure, and it keeps documentation of all of this. If we go over to access, we can see I'm the only collaborator for this project. And settings, we have our United States Heroku 20. It kind of tells you everything that's going on for this specific project. And we can also see in settings, we have our config variables, we have certain build packs, SSL certificates, domains, transfer of ownership. We just have a lot of stuff going on right now, but we will come back and I will show you pretty much how to do all of this stuff. But for right now, our main focus is deployment. So this wraps up this lecture on creating a Heroku account and kind of navigating around a little bit. And I will see you in the next video.